ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। मुखं करोति वाचालां पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातदहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। ॐ पूर्णमद्य पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। जन्मेश्वर्या श्रोता श्रीभिर्येद्मानं मदः पुमान् नैवर्हति यविधातुं वै त्वयमकिञ्चन गोचरम्। नमः पुरुषं त्वादियम् ईश्वरं प्रकृते परम् आलक्ष्यं सर्वभूतानां अन्तर्बाहरवस्थितम्। आत्मारामस्य मुनयो निर्ग्रन्थि रुक्रमो रुक्रमे कुर्वन्ति हेतुकी भक्ति एतं गुणो हरि। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तारूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्त्याखं नमामि भक्ति शक्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांतो स्वामीति नामिने। नामस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य सतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे नाम संकीर्तन की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य हिज भांग प्रभुपाद की जय। सिंबल भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौरा प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि। Hare Krishna. So I think we can start. And today we'll try to finish chapter 13 and 14 if we can. So many beautiful concept is going to be coming to this chapter. So please listen carefully, make note or try to learn as much as you can. I can tell you that some of these things will take years and years to understand. It's not that easy. Theoretically, yeah. Practically or conceptually, it's going to be a lot of years. So, chapter 13 talks about 5 potent forms of the devotional service, and then chapter 14 talks devotional qualification. So, how many of you are aware with the 5 potent form of the devotional service? Can somebody volunteer to share? What are the 5 potent forms? Okay, then it's good.
Worship of the Murti.
Yeah, deity worship.
Deity worship.
So we'll get into that. These 5 forms, I think you
Okay,
saw.
Prabhu, your voice is very low. Ramaja
I don't
Prabhu.
know. It might, is it with everybody or with only one devotee?
With everyone, Prabhu. Yeah, even I thought of calling out. Thanks, Narayan Prabhu. I just unmuted to call out.
Yeah, when Ashok Prabhu called, so the voice is good. Then I thought maybe Ramaja Prabhu's problem.
So let me see if there is some issue with. I can do original.
See if your mic is connected with computer, not with headset.
Everything is good, Prabhu. I can hear very clearly. Okay.
So,
Okay, so
Prabhu,
I.
the The 5 services are worshiping the deity, reciting from the sacred or books like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam,
Yeah,
and chanting mantra and Hare Krishna mantra, and then residing at the holy places.
right. Thank you. I think maybe I recently changed the internet connection. So hope, let's see if it continues doing like that, then we'll have to see. If it's too bad, then I might have to.
Prabhu, you have that audio settings, right? So click on that audio settings near that mic sign,
Uh-huh.
and then see that level of, I mean, yeah, how much it is, if it is low or high, the volume level.
It's high, very high. It's all the way down, up. Sound is bigger noise. Maybe let's do it auto. Yeah, it's to my side. It sounds like pretty good. Are you seeing the screen, Prabhuj?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll see how does it go. So let's go through the 5 potent forms of the devotional service. So far we have gone through 59, and this is the last 5. So Priti Shraddha Sri Murter Anghari Sevane. So Priti Shraddha Sri Murter. So Sri Murter is basically deity, and Priti means having affection. So having faith and great affection for serving the deity. So deity worship is 1 out of 5. And then Bhagavad Arthanam Ashwado, releasing Bhagavatam in the association of a devotee. So Bhagavatam, deity worship. Sajatyasya Snigdhe Sadhav Shangho Swatovaro, associating with like-minded, affectionate devotee. And then Nam Sankirtanam, chanting the Krishna names. And Mathura Mandale Sthitihi, living in the holy places. So these are the 5 potent forms, and we should remember this like our name. What are these 5 potent forms? So these are the, and we are very much engaged in each of this item. So we'll go one by one. I'm not going to basically talk more than needed, but I'm hoping that, or I can make a safe assumption that you'll be exposed to this thing again and again in every class, or most of the discussion that we do. We talk these items more or less, or try to stay around these items. So serving deity's lotus feet, that's about deity worship. Mama nama sadagrahi, mama seva priya sada, bhaktis tasmai pradattvaya natu mukti kadachana. Oh. Mam nam sadagrahi, sadaagrahi. To those who always chant my name. Mam seva priya sada, deity worship, and makes my service one's goal. Bhaktis tasmai pradattvaya, I shall award bhakti, natu mukti kadachana, and never liberation. So you can see here that devotees who are worshipping deity, Krishna award them the bhakti, devotional service, pure devotional service at some point, and not liberation. And then regarding Bhagavatam, uh, that all of these things, or all of these 5 items itself, one by one, can become a topic for a specific class. So we have heard a lot about Bhagavatam, and in this particular context, the third verse of first canto, first chapter is being cited. Nigam kalptaru galitam phalam sukha mukhadam ridram sayuktam pipita bhagavatam rasamalayam aho muhuraho rasik bhuvi bhavukah. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the mature fruit of the desired trees of Vedas. So the essence, right? What is the real part of a fruit or real part of a tree that exists out there? Fruits. And even out of the fruit, the one that's ripened, mature, is the real essence. So Srimad Bhagavatam is basically the essence or the result that we uh, get out of studying Vedas. It's the desired tree of Vedas. Sukha Mukhad Amrit Drava Samyuktakam. And it's emanating from the pure devotee, then that makes even more tasty. Example is given that the mango itself is a very sweet and tasty. When shuka, parrot, bites it, then it becomes even more tastier and more flavorful. So Srimad Bhagavatam itself is a mature fruit of the desired tree of Vedas. But when Sukdev Goswami talks it, it becomes even more nectarian. Pipita Bhagavatam Rasamalayam. So, oh, fortunate devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, please release this nectarian juice. How? Muhuraho rasik bhuibhavkaha. Like a rasika. So rasika is the one who who enjoy the rasha, who is looking for rasha. So, oh, expert, here the English word is used expert, but the Sanskrit word, understanding the meaning of the Sanskrit word will give you better understanding. Rasik bhui bhavukaha, bhui bhavukaha, full of your uh, intensity, with full of your desire. Oh, fortunate devotee, please release the juice, release the fruit of this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the mature fruit of the desired tree of Veda. So Srimad Bhagavatam is very powerful, as we know, Amlam Puranam. It's basically a spotless Purana. And then about devotee association. So who should we associate? And if you can remember these 3 points, it will help you. So whenever we are seeking the association of a devotee, who should we associate to? That thing has also been who we should associate to. That has also been mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. But there are other verses in Bhagavatam and other places that give us the idea that who we should aspire to associate to, who are the right person whom we should seek our association. Because what is our goal is that we don't want to associate with the people who are very much materially motivated, who are not devotee of Krishna. So if we are not associating with people who are very much selfish and motivated with results and material minded, then we have to find the place where we can seek the association. So who we should associate to? Sajatiyasya, like-minded. Shnigdha, the one who are affectionate to us. Swato Vare, the one who are advanced. So always seek the association of a devotee who are advanced. So what is your understanding by this word sajati? It says like-minded. Sajati means basically sajati. Jat is basically, we know that, right? What is like caste system in India, right? This is jat, and sajati means the one who are in the same caste system or same jat. But here also is uses the word sajati asya, like-minded. Snigdha, the one who are affectionate, devotee who are affectionate. So who has the affection? At least the Madhmadhikari, right? Madhmadhikari knows how to respect the devotee of each class. Plus, they know also how to respect the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, affectionate devotee, which means at least he should be at the point of a stage where he can, he can understand who is who, which means Madhmadikari to me. And then Shato Vare, more advanced. So, what is the understanding of Sajatiya here, in your opinion? No, I mean, no right, wrong answer. But I just wanted to understand what would be the understanding about Sajatiya?
At the same level,
Sajatiya. Ah?
devotees at the same level.
No, but it says here Satovara, more advanced.
Okay.
So it says association of Satovara, devotee who are more advanced. So Jatiya here refers to basically multiple meaning of Sajatiya. But here for sake of this class, we can consider Sajatiya means the people who have at least same disciplic succession, or at least the people who have same degree of believe. Like not everybody uh, believe or approach Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, there might be other people who will be also devotional, but they will be Shivite, worshipper of Shiva, or there are people who are worshipper of Lord Ganesh or any demigod worshipper. So Sadatya here refers to the people who at least have same common values. And to make it more clear, at least devotees who are falling under same disciplic succession. So if we are Brahmada Gauriya Sampradaya, then all the devotee who are following the teaching of Brahmada Gauriya Sampradaya, they will be Sajatiye. So in one sense, all of us are Sajatiye. But also there are Sri Sampradaya, and they also worship Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they would be considered Sadatiya too. So as long as there is same belief or there is same teaching, they would be considered Sajatiya. But we cannot saying something, Mataji.
I was just saying, like, when you say other sampradayas following the same similar values, like
Uh-huh.
Vishnu Tattva, you mean? All
Yeah,
the Vaishnava sampradayas?
yeah, Vishnu Tattva. As
No.
long as they have believed that the Vishnu is Supreme Personality of Godhead, that person uh, is worth associating at least. Yes, but not with the people who are believer that Shiva is the Supreme Personality of Godhead or Ganesha is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or no, or at least one who is formally fixed in worshipping Vishnu form. Very important, you know. What is the concept? The concept is that we have respect for everyone. A Vaishnava devotee of the Lord does not harm anyone, does not have any disrespect for any living being. What he does, he respect everyone, everything, okay? But he worship only Supreme Personality of Godhead in his original form as Krishna. But also worshipping Krishna in his Vishnu form is accepted, but not worshipping any other demigod. Someone might be devotional, worshipping. In India, if you go, you will see that there are so many people who are Hanumanji worshipper too, or worshipper of Durga in Bengal or Kali. Those people, if even if they meet so one by one the criteria has to go. First, they need to be Sajatiye, and second, they need to have the affection. What is the meaning of affection here? Who cares? how to show affection. Tadati pratigrinhati vyamakhyati prikshati. So we know that verse from NOI. Bhungate bhujate chaiva sadvidir priti lakshanam. The one who shows the priti lakshanam. So that priti is here, affection. The one who has priti lakshanam toward us.
Oh, your voice has become very low, Prabhu.
I don't know, Prabhu. There is nothing much I can do. Maybe I'll have to restart.
At least for me, it is okay, Prabhu.
Uh,
For me, it was okay.
yeah, I know that Prabhu system always has something problem. How about other people?
I have
If
put
we
my
keep it in the
I
keep
have
it in
put
the
my
high volume, we can hear it, Prabhu. But then when others
yes.
speak, then it's kind of right on our ears.
I'll try to maybe not share the video and then see if it helps. Okay,
It's
Prabhu.
not.
Please let.
It's not. No, it's not anything to do with video or anything, Prabhu. Like your mic setting is what it is causing that issue, I believe. But anyways, I mean, if our output level is 100, then we can. But when someone speaks, like it's very hard to hear.
I did not do any. I did not change anything. Let me try to make
And
some
now it
change
changed,
and
Prabhu.
see if it helps.
And now it improved, Prabhu.
Sorry, Prabhu's Mataji's. This is.
And now we can hear you fine, Prabhu. Something changed. We can hear you fine.
No, it's good.
Can you hear now? Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Can you?
Perfect. Yep. Perfect.
Much better.
Oh, much better. Okay, so I had to move this little closer. Okay, Prabhu's. So I was talking about devotee association, right? This is what we are talking, right? What we are talking about devotee association, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
So it goes basically in a way that first we have to have the like-minded people, and then among the like-minded people who are affectionate, not I mean devotee also within the like-minded people are at the different stage of their Krishna consciousness. So somebody may not care for your prosperity in Krishna consciousness. So that association might not help. But somebody who has affection for you, who is caring for you, who wants you to elevate your consciousness, and then for sure always try to associate with more advanced devotee. If we do that, tulyam lavena pina swargam na punarbhavam bhagvat sangi sangasya martyanam kim utashisha. Beautiful verse, very beautiful verse in fact. Tulyam lavena pina, even 1 minute of the association, love matra association of such a devotee is much powerful than the opulence that we get into heavenly planet. What to talk about anything that is material or temporary, anything that has a life that is going to be given to us while we are on this planet. The law math association even cannot compare with the happiness of the Swarga. And that's really true. Like today I was in the class and Bhima Prabhu talked about, he said that human means 64 rounds of chanting. That thing I had heard before too, but the way he said, in a certain particular context, the way that thing came out, it was very profound. It appeared very profound to me on at least my understanding. I felt something going deeper. Yeah, human being means chanting 64 rounds. So that's what it happened. Each and every association of devotee that we take, it moves us to the, next level. Something will trick, something will just hit on our head in a very different way. You might have heard it, you might think that I know it, but it will have different, very different kind of understanding. Krishna's mercy. And then past Krishna's holy name, Nam, is also one of the potent form of devotional service. And all of you know that Nam Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Suddho Nitya Mukta Vinatva Nam Namino. Very famous verse that says that Nam Chintamani Krishna name is like Chintamani. fulfills all the desire, and it's not different from his holy name, Avinatva Nam, for his not different than his form, Avinatva Nam Namino. So water, substance water, and the letter water is different. By saying water, 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 we are not going to fill our thirst. We have to have the substance water. But Avinatva Nam Namino. So the Nam which is given to the object is same, which means Krishna and his holy name Krishna is same. It's Purna Shuddha, it's completely pure, and it's eternally liberating. It does not depend on any condition. Whenever, whatever situation we call out the name of Krishna, it's going to be equally powerful. And then holy place, I think we have gone through this in NOI verse number 9, which talks about the importance of the holy places. So it says that from Vaikuntha, wow, from Vaikuntha. Of course, the material world is the lowest place to be. So higher than anywhere on the material world, Vaikuntha is superior, and higher than Vaikuntha is Mathura, because Krishna appeared there. And Brindavan is even superior than Mathura, and higher than Brindavan is Govardhan. And on the Govardhan, Srimati Radharani Kund is the highest most. Why? Because all of these places are associated with the pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is why living in the holy place is very, very important. It's one of the prominent limb, because the place itself is none different than, again, Krishna himself, right? Krishna manifest. So there is Golok Vrindavan, it's called Vyoma Dham. Vyoma. So there is original Golok Vrindavan, and that Golok Vrindavan is manifested in the material world. So in each universe, there is abode, or there is a abode where Lord resides. So in material world, in this universe where we are part of, Dhruvaloka is the place, or it's like an embassy, or it's like an office. When Lord comes to the material world, he comes to Dhruvaloka, the loka where Dhruv Maharaj resides. So Chirodakshai Vishnu abode is there. So likewise, all these holy places are more or less abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because Lord did personally all the pastime there. So it's very, very important to reside in the holy places. So that's how chapter 13 will finish. And I request all of you to go and read the summary that is given by Srila Prabhupada. And if I get some time, I'm going to ask some question from the last class to see if you are reading or not. So then there are some other items which are not considered, although in a literal sense it may appear that it's part of the bhakti, but it's not considered bhakti. I don't know, I do not see that slide, where it's gone. Did I delete it, or what did I do? No, when I was trying to adjust the slide, sounds like I deleted that slide. Okay, yeah, most likely I ended up deleting that. So I can just mention what is that. So there are few items which appears that it's pious, or it may appear that it's bhakti, but it's not bhakti, such as making any endeavor for jnana or vairagya. Okay, we see in India people are very renounced, they have left everything, but they have detached themselves from the things that they are seeing around, but they have attached themselves with the moksha, with the liberation. So vairagya, yeah, it may help. want to develop bhakti, but trying to always pursue gyan, or run for vairagya is not a part of the bhakti. Trying to keep our body clean all the time is not part of the bhakti. Yes, it do help in one prepare their mind to worship Supreme Personality of Godhead, but that itself is not a bhakti. Some of the ordinary quality such as charity or honesty, okay, being so honest has nothing. It's not bhakti. It does not really help one to become advanced devotee unless and until devotee gives the association. So some of these things are not bhakti, but it may appear as bhakti. So if you read the purport very carefully or summary, Prabhupada has mentioned those items. Those are called secondary items which may appear very important. Those are, sometimes we use the word prerequisite. Okay, if you want to do this, you have to make sure that you are doing some of these things. So prerequisite like staying clean or being honest or doing charity or or um, showing vairagya, detachment, all of that is not part of the bhakti unless and until we do the bhakti. So what is bhakti? The 64 limbs, all the 64 items that we just went through, following them is bhakti. Rather, other items which are secondary are not bhakti. Why? So we'll see some of the verses here. Why? Because devotees acquire all the good qualities. Okay. Atah sudhir bahi sudhir. Antah sudhir bahi sudhis. Tapah santi adhyastata ami gunah prapadyante hari seva abhikaminam. So antah sudhir bahi sudhis. Anta is inside and Bahi is outside. So internal and external, Tapah, Shanti, Adhyastatha, austerity and peacefulness, and any other quality. A person who is devotee of Krishna will have all of these qualities manifesting within the due course of time. They will be Sudh from inside, pure from inside, and pure from outside. The result that you get by any austerity, okay, or not, there are people who will just don't talk. Vachubega is important, but that yeah, by not talking, yeah, you might be, in the mode of goodness, but that is not part of the bhakti. But the one who is engaged in devotional service, even he is not trying to do at some point all of these things, at due course of time all the good quality will manifest. Then question comes that is there something that a devotee cannot obtain? Is there something that can't be achieved by devotee? Answer is no. There is nothing which a pure devotee cannot obtain at due course of time. Yat karmabhir yat tapasya. Very clear. Jnana vairagya वैराग्यतश् चयत योगेना दान धर्मेना श्रेयोभिर इतरैरपि सर्वं मद्भक्ति योगेन मद्भक्तो लभते अंजसा स्वर्ग अपवर्गम मदधाम कथानचित कथ अंचित यदि वंचति वंचति he is not going to be uh, denounced. He's not going to be vanchati. He's not going to be away from what? All the result that we get. Yat karma vir yat tapasya. Very important point. All the result that all the happiness that we get by engaging in the fruitive activity, we know it's called bhog sukham or bhavya sukham, or the sukha of this material world, or tapasya by doing the severe austerity. Jnana or vairagya, or the happiness that we get by knowledge, or happiness that we get by renunciation. Yogena dana dharmena, by mystic yoga or charity, or by engaging into religious activity such as worshipping the demigods, etc. Sreyobhir itrarayarapir. It's superior than all of these things that we have just gone through, which is easily achieved by devotee through loving service unto me. By devotional service of Supreme Personality of Godhead, all of that will be achieved. If at all my devotee desire heaven, liberation, or residence in my abode, they easily achieve such boons. So two things here. First thing, two layer of understanding from this verse. The first layer of understanding is that any other result that we get by karma, tapasya, jnana, vairagya, yoga, or ritualistic activity, a bhakti or a bhakta will achieve all of that. So position of the bhakta is superior than that. But even if a bhakta desire to achieve one of these happiness, okay, he can easily achieve such boons. So it's very important also what we desire. Again, Prabhu was saying in the class that there are few devotees who chant 64 rounds and all the time chanting, 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 chanting. Nobody knows that person is, very focused on the bhakti, not for anything else. So yes, it's very important that what is our desire. Okay, we might not be in a very perfect stage of our Krishna consciousness, but we should desire for getting there. And if the desire is there, then Krishna will take us there. If not, then our desire, whatever that is, name, fame, dharma, what did they say? Puja, pratishtha, nam, all of that, Krishna says here, that will be easily achieved by devotee. So that's what it is. But then we also talk about Yukta Vairagya. So what is Yukta Vairagya? It's very important, very technical definition. Okay, Bhakti Samrita Sindhu gives very technical definition for all of these words. So this one you should remember. We use the word Yukta Vairagya a lot. Oh, our stage should be that one should come to the stage of Yukta Vairagya. Okay, so what is Yukta Vairagya? Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatha Artham Upayanjutah Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagam Uchyate. So Anashaktasya Vishayan, Ashakti, Anashakti, right? So Anashakti Vishayan Yatha Arham Upayan Jatah, while remaining detached from the material object, if one uses them to the extent they are favorable for bhakti, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe, our sambandha with object is only up to the extent that it is going to be used in the service of Krishna, then such a detachment is said to be suitable for bhakti. So Yukta Vairagya is basically we have to, so we might be like, for example, how to say that example in a very nicer way. A servant of the king lives in the palace, right? King's palace. And he has all the opportunity, everything around him, like as a king, right? He eats opulently, he lives in an opulent place, he's seeing things around him very opulent. But he knows that everything is to serve. So he uses everything, whatever is at his disposal, he uses everything to serve the king. So a devotee, based on desire of his desire or desire of Krishna's too. Krishna sometimes may manifest, and just to show the example to the whole world, he will position his devotee in a very opulent way. Okay, but devotee knows that Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe, everything that is given to me, he will have you know, attachment only up to the extent that he can use it in the service of Krishna. So anasaktasya vishayan. Vishayan means the subject of sense enjoyment. So he will be, while he is trying to remain detached, his attachment only is up to the extent that things can be used in service of Krishna. Only he is attached up to that extent. And that is Yukta Vairagya. I would like to give a pause, okay? And I would like to make sure that you all understand this concept, because Yukta Vairagya is a very important concept to understand. So who did not understand this Yukta Vairagya? Is it clear what is the Yukta Vairagya? Very important. Is it clear? So can somebody give some other example to make this point clear? Some other example to make. I give the example of a servant and king. Is there some other example that can be given?
It's
Banker.
like also someone, a driver in a car, Prabhu, he gets to enjoy whatever the, the, the owner of the car does, right? So he's also driving with him, going wherever he goes.
Yeah. So a driver of a rich man, right?
Right, right,
Yeah. He basically use that luxurious car. He goes wherever the rich man is going, right?
right. Yes,
But he knows that he's only a driver, right?
yes.
Yes. Mataji, you were saying something that's into Mataji. Good example. Yes.
No, Prabhu, I don't think this is
No, you said something about the man counting the money in a bank.
right. Not that much relevant, but yeah, I was gonna say
No,
that.
that can be applied. Yeah, Prabhupada says, Prabhupada, or a postman,
Yeah,
a postman will get a envelope, a mail that has $1 million inside it. But he knows that I have to pick it up from the post office and drop it to somebody's house, right? That's
yeah.
all. That's all. Yeah. So
Same
these
like
are,
a gardener. Gardener also, he does everything in the garden, but the garden doesn't belong to him. The owner is the actual owner of the garden, but
right. I can take that too. Yes. Yes. Some of these examples would make this point very clear. What is Yukt Vairagya? So our goal is to slowly and slowly come to the stage of Yukt Vairagya. Any other? I have one more slide to go. So any other thoughts or any other input anybody has?
yeah,
Any other?
I'm just trying to comment on something where
Yeah,
how Srila Prabhupada used everything in spreading the movement.
yeah.
Everything, he spiritualized everything.
Yes, Prabhupada was criticized by so many people, right?
Yeah.
So many religious people that how you can use aeroplane. Bhaktisanta Swami Maharaj was a revolutionary preacher. He brought a revolution when he was preaching. That time it was not a tradition for a saintly person to ride car, go on the car, right? So people
Yeah.
thought, well, what you were, I mean, you were a saintly person, Prabhupada said that you also, Prabhupada was said by many people that you also think like, like a manager or any, person who is managing organization. So what's the difference between you or managing something else? Prabhupada said, no. This managerial is different than managing, somebody's estate. So this management is basically managing Krishna's property. Yeah, so some of these are good example. I want to make sure that in future, whenever you are giving class or anything like that, this concept you can bring. Yukt Vairagya. So do you know how many ways we can engage with the sense object? There are 4 levels of engagement. First one is basically bhoga, Visaya bhoga. We are completely without any rules and regulation, completely enjoying, completely, they say that succumb in, completely succumbed in, completely sucked in, enjoying, nothing matters. Higher than that is dovetailing. When we use it, we keep things for our purpose, but some of that we use for Krishna also. So I personally, most at this point of my consciousness, I'm very much in the dovetailing stage, which means we have things for our use, but we try to, give it to use it for Krishna service too. But Yukt Baragya is where you have no attachment for your personal happiness or pleasure. The attachment is only for Krishna's pleasure, like chamra that we have, or the peacock feather that we have fan. What we do with those things, right? Corn shell. All of these things we are keeping in our house just to serve Krishna. Okay, and then highest most is spontaneous, connect devotion, where we have no rule regulation. We have just the desire to use things for the pleasure of Krishna. So we overachieve. We try to go out of our achievement and do something that will please Krishna. But that will happen when we are in pure love. On the other hand, this word Falgu Vairagya is useless. Okay, which means unnecessarily trying to show detachment for the things of the material world is unfavorable. We don't want to basically just be like not to say XYZ name, but we have people who don't try to interfere with the things of the material world. Buddhism, nirvana is based on this concept. Nirvana means basically just transcend this material thing and come out of it. Okay, so this Falgu Vairagya is not important. Yukt Vairagya is important. Yukt Vairagya. Vairagya is there, but it's Yukt, Krishna Sambandhe. Okay, so Nirbandha is for Krishna Sambandha. Okay, so you can use this word also. Nirbandhe Krishna Sambandhe Yukt Vairagam Uchate. Okay, and then we are going to talk about
Can you repeat all the four steps? One is Vishaya Bhoga, dovetailing, Yukta
Yukt Vairagya
Vairagya.
and then spontaneous devotion.
Okay. So what is Falgu Vairagya is coming into this? Is it not four of them or?
So Falgu Vairagya is detachment, like renouncement for sake of liberation, or detachment, like Buddhist does. They don't use the things in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rather, they just say that I don't want to have any emotion, because emotion is the cause of my suffering. So I don't want to have any emotion. Just control on the emotion. But we say no, we want to have the emotion, but that emotion should be Krishna conscious emotion. Okay, so rejecting things for other motives. Dovetailing is also good, because in dovetailing you are using things in service of Krishna. The first one is basically Vishaya Bhoga. You are completely enjoying it, fully attached to it. So 100% attachment. But this one is 100% detachment. The detachment is there, but there is no higher purpose. Is it clear, Prabhu?
Yes, bro.
So that's what is like taking bath of a elephant. They go in the river, they swim, they love staying in the water. But as soon as they come out, they take some dust and mud and throw over, them. Bisaya binivartante, niraharasya dehinam, one has basically forced themselves to detach from the sense object. But when sense object is offered, then they will have still that trishna. Okay, so Yukt Vairagya, what it does is that since we engage in the service of Krishna, it slowly and slowly, that Trishna that we have for the object of the material world, the Trishna that we have, that me being rich is the cause of my happiness. Trishna that we have is that me being powerful person is the cause of my happiness. All of this is illusory Trishna. It's all because of immature thinking. The real happiness and real sadness comes when Krishna wants one to be happy and Krishna wants one to be sorrow. It has nothing to do, endeavor matters, but on the illusory level, all of these things, all of these items seems to be the cause of our happiness or suffering. But on higher level, these are not the cause of our happiness or suffering. Prithu Maharaj has mentioned that too. So Phalgu Bairaga is basically, they would try to, get artificially happiness by XYZ, renouncement. Oh, I don't do that. If I, don't have, just close the flow of emotion. If I don't have the emotion, I'm not interested to have the emotion of happiness, so that I would never get into the area where I will have the emotion of sadness. So this emotion thing, kick it out. I don't care for happiness, so that I would never be exposed to sadness. That's the philosophy. So Falgu Bairag is artificially renunciation.
Prabhu,
And then,
Okay.
sorry.
Sorry, Mataji, go ahead.
I was just saying, so they renounce all the desires. Is that what it is? They renounce all the desires. That is,
yes, yeah, but that will happen only in bhakti. Niyaharasya dehi nam. Yes. So desire, renounce all the desire is not that something we can do. So it says that once we engage into the higher taste, the lower taste automatically drops out. So for one to be desireless, there need to be a firm, a strong desire for something else.
right. For bhaktas, so our desire
Yes.
is always to serve the Lord.
Yeah.
Whereas for Buddhists, I think they go for desireless.
Yes. So yes, you're right. You're right. So desireless, we don't artificially try to become. And very simple example can be given, that all of us have seen that when we have the babies, like 2 3 years old baby, how much they love playing with the dolls, right? But when they grow up, so they will be so happy playing with the doll of a car, right? Knowing that it's car and honking and all of that. But once they get the real car, do they have taste for that doll car? Nah, no, right? Exactly like that. So if we have taste for things of the material world, or anything that's still attracting us, name, fame, glories, anything, that means we haven't developed the taste for something higher. So what you said is right. Prabhu, you were saying something, Manonath Prabhu?
No, I was going to say, like, it's like austerity performed by demons, Prabhu, like Hiranyakashipu did over the
Yes.
years.
Yes, they do so much austerity, right? But once they think that they have found the result of it, then what happens? Very good example you gave. Very good example. They just go opposite of it, right?
Right.
So Hiranyakashipu, how much austerity he did. Like his meats and bones were eaten away by ants, right? But once he got the boon from Lord Brahma, what he did? What's the point of that? That's a good example, very good example. What's the point of that, artificial renouncement? Once they get the result, they start enjoying. Now, he got the boon worshipping Brahma, and then he says that, no, I'm superior than everybody else. How come it's possible? Okay, so this one is, we have one more slide, but very quickly. Ekanga Bhakti and Anek Anga Bhakti. Okay, so 9 limbs or 9 items in the bhakti, all of us is very very prominent. Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smarnam Padasevanam Archanam Bandhanam Darsham Shakhyam Atmanivedanam. Okay, so even by engaging in one of the limb, one life will be successful. If we become if we become completely expert, become expert in a particular limb, one of the limb, that limb itself will be sufficient. Yes, we might have desire to do so many other other items of the bhakti, but even if we are perfected in one limb of the bhakti, our life will be perfected. An example is given here, that Sri Vishnu Savane Parikshit Abhavad. Parikshit Maharaj, he perfected his life. You need, all of you, if you can take the picture of this slide, or you can remember, make a note, it is very important. It's very, very important. Comes again and again. So we need to know that. So Parikshit Maharaj, he perfected his life by hearing. right? And Sukdev Goswami, he perfected his life by chanting, by reciting the Bhagavatam. Prahlad Asmarne, Prahlad Maharaj, he perfected his life by remembering Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lakshmi, by massaging the feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prithu Maharaj, by doing the deity worship. Akrura, by offering the prayers, Bandhanam. Hanumanji, by Dashyam, and Arjun by Shakyam. Okay, so Prabhupada says in Krishna book that all of these devotee, they perfected their life. Okay, but we have to also perfect our life by taking one of these item of the bhakti. And if we become just very much attached to one of the item, although we might have taste for other items, but just by perfecting in one item, our life will be successful. We do not have to endeavor to be perfect in everything. Okay, but there are examples in Shastra where devotee followed Anekanga Bhakti. They also uh, participated in multiple, or they performed multiple anga of the bhakti simultaneously, and they perfected their life. Example is given Amrish Maharaj. So I would like to read this one. This all the word that comes here in this particular verse is very important also. So this is also another important slide that you can take picture, or you can watch the recording when I send it. But you need to know this one. This will help you a lot. Savai Mansa Krishna, you know that, right? All of you might have heard that. Savai Mansa Krishna Padaravindayor. Okay, mind should be always engaged in meditating the feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vachamsi Vaikuntha Gunanuvarnane. And our Vacha, Vani, word, should be always engaged in glorifying Krishna. Karau, hand. Karau Harer Mandira Marjan Adishu. If you do Sandhi Vichhed. Karau Harer Mandira Marjan Adishu. Hand should be always engaged in cleaning the Lord's temple. Do you see now? When we request devotee or wash the pot and wash the floor, they think that maybe they are super qualified to do this service. But see here, hands should be always engaged doing some physical service, some menial service for Lord. I in the on Saturdays I do some cooking in the morning, and Gopal Prabhu is washing all the pots. Very important. Those types, some menial service. We should have some menial service. you know Always try to find what is that, but have some menial service. Just get into the kitchen. If you see some pots there, start washing it. Even not, don't have to ask anybody's permission. Mopping the floor in the temple or in the kitchen or outside, something like that. Going into the restroom, flushing it, making sure that restroom is very important to engage in some menial service. Mukunda lingalya darsane drasau. Drasau means eyes should be engaged in seeing Mukunda, the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tad bhartaya gatra sparse anga sangamam, and sense of touching should be engaged in touching devotees, or touching the deity or devotee's feet. And grahanam cha tatpad saroj saurabhe srimate tulsaya, and sense of smelling should be engaged in smelling the fragrance that's offered to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Many of you, I'm not sure, when I started coming to Krishna consciousness, I was not sure why they are letting us, smell that flower that's offered to deity, right? And when Aarti happens, we take the flower, we offer it to uh, Prabhupada, advanced most devotee, whoever is there at that time. And then after that, you will see Prabhu just start giving it to all the Prabhus, and then we start. And then we smell, and then all the Matajis will be doing it. See here, it says that. Sense of smell should be engaged in smelling the fragrance of tulsi or any item that's offered at the feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rasanam tad arpite. Rasanam tad arpite. And tongue should be engaged in tasting prasada. Padau hare kshetra padanu sarpane. Padau. Padau means pad, feet. Legs in walking to the holy places and temples. Shiro Rishikesa Padam Abhivandane, Padma Abhivandane. So, Shiro, head in bowing down in front of the Lord's deity. So, whenever we get into the temple, don't do like this. Just stand dandavata, just fall on the floor and make sure that head is not like this, completely flat. It's very important. I noticed that devotee don't do that. We need to do that. Completely flat. Just fall down on the floor and let your head, this head need to be brought down at some point. Too much pride for all the material achievement that we have uh, in our life. Kamam chadase natu kama kamayaya. That's another beautiful point. All the desires that we have, that desire should be fulfilled, or that desire should be always engaged in serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And by doing all of these angas, Maharaj Ambrish perfected his life. Okay, so that's what we talked. We talked about the limb of the bhakti, 64 limbs of the bhakti. We talked about that a devotee who is performing the bhakti will achieve everything. He doesn't have to make subsidiary or secondary or a special endeavor for something else, which is not, or thinking that things are not fully captured here. There might be something else that I can get somewhere else. No, everything can be obtained by just becoming the Hari Bhakta, devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We went through multiple angas, but even if we want perfect our life in following one anga, if we become perfect in one anga, our life is perfected. But if you have talent and desire, and if you can perfect yourself in multiple anga, anek anga bhakti, that also is acceptable. So we saw the example, the devotee who made their life perfect by following one anga, and we saw example where devotee made their life perfect by following multiple anga. Okay, so with that we are finishing chapter 14, and it's already 1:35. I'll be more than happy to have some discussion or answer any questions or any realization that you have. I'll be happy to